Hello and welcome to another edition of DCU Tonight. I'm your host, Rock Var, here live on Var Nation to talk DCUO, DC Comics, and DCTV. Thanks for joining. If you're joining, if you're not joining, well then, I guess I'm not talking to you at all. You're not watching or listening. But to the point, we have huge DCUO news in tonight's show. We're going to go into here directly. We're going to pop on over to DCTV and talk about last night's episode of Supergirl. So if you haven't seen it yet, that will be the time you want to exit the show. Then we're going to head over to DCComics.com, look at the pull list for this week, check out just in time for The Flash, because we've got The Flash starting tonight at 8 Eastern. So if you are a fan of The Flash, I will be sure to get you to the show on time. I swear this to you right now. This is an oath from Rockvar. On my mother's grave, I will get you to Flash on time. I swear to you. Thera Jimsy ensures it. So, in DCUO news, big time news happening right now in Europe. Crossplay is live. When I started getting information together for today's show, there was a huge downtime on the EU servers. They were down. Their downtime was up to 24 hours, and it started February 1st. And so I'm super happy to be able to say that, at least according to the last post they had up on Twitter, the Europe servers should be back online and crossplay should be live. So you guys should be playing with folks on PlayStation 3 and 4 and PC in Europe. And if you're not, sorry, but that's not my thing. I can't fix it. It'll get fixed. Now, as far as what's happening in the US, I do not know. I have absolutely no idea at this point when we're looking at downtime. I'm hoping that everything over here goes as smoothly as it did there, and if it does, our downtime will be minimal. I hope to not be out of the game for 24 hours straight. But if I am, and I have to sacrifice 24 hours of game time to end up playing with folks on PC, that's fine with me. I think it's well worth it. We shall see, and we'll let you know. But the best way to find out things like that is to follow DC Universe Online on Twitter at DC Universe Online. Or no, they're just at DCUO on Twitter. You can go to DC Universe Online and check out the announcements for yourself to see what's happening. But we're going to dive into that right now on DCU Tonight. So we're moving over to DCUniverseOnline.com. I can skip the announcement about the huge downtime on the EU servers because that has apparently ended, and we're moving on to tab number 2, a known issue in DCUO with mail. So we have the new UI welcome screen. When you first log into the game, you've probably noticed that there's a brand new welcome screen up, and it's got a lot of information on there, right down to from what friends of yours are online to what Legends characters are available, are being showcased, new products that are available on the marketplace. Just a lot of information in that new screen. So if you logged in yesterday, hopefully you saw a huge message pertaining to the mail, a current glitch in the mail system. So I'm going to read. MEPS has posted in the announcement section on the forums. Not logged in since the last daily server restart. If you attempt to send mail to a player that is not logged in, you'll see an error message and the mail will not send. Additionally, any items that had been attached to the mail will not save correctly and will disappear the next time you log out. They're working to resolve both the issue and the mail not sending properly, and the issue of the attached items disappearing. Items that have been lost will be restored once the problem is resolved, most likely sometime next week. You do not need to open a support ticket. So if you do, I think the safest thing to do is just not send mail. If it's somebody that you've talked to, or not send attachments in mail. If it's somebody that you've talked to or you're friends with and you know they've logged in since the last daily server restart, well then, yeah, go ahead and do that, but at your own risk. I'm just not going to send mail with attachments. That solves the problem. But if you have sent mail with an attachment and you lost an item or items, once they get this problem resolved, those will be restored to you. So you don't need to go open a ticket now because they're working on resolving that anyway. Now, my advice to you is this. If you have lost an item and you don't get it back once this problem is supposedly solved, then I would open a support ticket to say, hey, I didn't get back what I was supposed to. But trust me, there's probably going to be a long list of those, so be prepared to wait. But the reality is eventually they will fix it, and they always do. So just don't send any attachments to folks if you don't know how recently they've logged in or not logged in, and you won't have a problem. As they go on to state here, for now, please refrain from sending mail with attachments unless you know that player has been online since the daily server restart. And they thank us for our patience. So, yeah, that's all that is. If you haven't seen that message when you log in, there you go. If you need more information on that, you can visit the forums on DCUniverseOnline.com. All right, moving on in DCUO news. You have probably noticed this if you've logged into the game. We are doing the Valentine's Seasonal. That's right, Love Conquers All is up and active and running through February 29th of this year. There are new base items, there are new style items, there are new feats, there are new auras. When I was talking about the UI earlier, where the new login, you'll have noticed that that's what's popping up as an item for sale in the marketplace, these two new auras, and so that's what Lyda wants for Valentine's Day. That's what she'll end up getting, and more stuff. I'm romantic and all that. She's not here to tell you otherwise. So the truth is, I'm the most romantic person you've ever known, and any woman, to be wooed by me, it can't be stopped, and she's not here to tell you that that's not true. So you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. That's all you need to know. She has such wonderful Valentines that she almost can't stand to be herself. She almost can't stand to live in this house. It's so awesome here at Valentine's. But anyway, we're going to pick up those auras. We're going to be showcasing this stuff too. There are a lot of new base items, so I'm going to stream in the next couple of days, and I'm going to show off the base items. We'll probably do a video showing those. We'll get Lyda and her auras, and we'll show those off to you and get into it. First, I'm going to read to you a little bit of information about what's going on in the Valentine's Day event, and before I start doing that, I'm moving over to my next set. Let's go over to Cloud Town. What? Oh, they're moving. Okay. I was going to say, my clouds are not moving. They didn't look like they were moving when we ran up there, but they are, just ever so slowly. Look, you can hear my generator. I'm going to fix that right now, too, because that is in effect. Doink. No effects. No effects necessary. Alright, so Love Conquers All is live right now in DC Universe Online, and if this is your first year playing, you are going to see some very odd things happening. And I know this because I just had it happen to me on an alt. So you're going to have a mission that's going to pop up in your journal showing you that you're completed. You're going to go and you're going to pick that, and you're going to get a slew of feats. And what that is they don't have the same missions and stuff happening as they had in previous years. So there are a number of feats that you just because they're not available for you anymore. So you'll get that on a new tune, or you'll get that if you're new to the game. on your regular tune, like Rockvar, I did not get that on him. So, but I did get it on several of my alts. However, let's get down to what it's all about here, because there are new feats, there are new base items, there are a lot of new things that you can get. So, starts out the Star Sapphires are again making an effort to rekindle the love lost in Gotham City. Mr. Freeze knows that Zamaron crystals are capable of he knows what they're capable of, and he has hatched a plan to bring his wife Nora back by integrating their crystals into the cryogenic technology. This misuse of the crystals is extremely dangerous and can cause an exothermic reaction that would destroy the entire city. Queue up and venture inside Mr. Freeze's laboratory and the 4-player seasonal event Love's Battlefield. Wow, I am amazed, as you may be, that I was able to say most of those words correctly. It was my first time reading through that, so thank you. Open your mission journal and track a glowing love, heroes, that'll be the hero name of it, or cold, cold heart on the villain side. Speak to Hal Jordan in Gotham's East End Police Station safe house for heroes, or Mr. Freeze in the Gotham North Burnley nightclub safe house for villains. While in the safe house, visit the terminal next to Hal Jordan or Mr. Freeze to pick up a daily Valentine's race mission. Get your heart racing. It's not a joke, folks. This race is no joke. Like most like most races out there, this one's no joke. I'll be helping Lida with this later on probably. She did it yesterday, but the faster you do it, you get, better stuff. So this mission can also be picked up at the terminal in Northeast Metropolis near Union Station. The seasonal mission can be completed daily during the event and reset and replay badges, and reset with replay badges. There are new feats, Love is in the Air, and Charmed, I'm Sure. It also says, don't forget to visit the Valentine's vendor to get seasonal clothing, candies, and base items. A Valentine's vendor is located in the East End Safe House for heroes, North Burnley nightclub for villains, and inside Mr. Freeze's laboratory. And they've got some pictures up here on the website of what some of the new base items look like. They've got some pictures up here of the auras. These new base items are awesome. So we are going to make a love den in DCUO. One of the VAR vases, one of the VAR bases is going to become a love den, because we have all the heart-shaped tub and a bunch of heart-shaped beds from previous seasons, and so I'm not sure really if they're going to have what they're having drop in the vault right now, but I would say now is a good time to go and make sure you hit the vault once a day, because a lot of times they have seasonal type things dropping in the vault, and that's just a freebie. That's one free time a day you can pick up something. I don't know if they're doing that yet, but it's worth a shot. Because I know last year during Valentine's Day, during most holiday seasons last year, a lot of stuff dropped from the vault. So make sure you hit that vault daily. And if you would like to play DC Universe Online and don't, you can download the game for free on the at the PlayStation Store, or DCUniverseOnline.com to download and play for free from your PC. And if you do that, here in about a few days, we will be playing together, because I'm on PlayStation and you're on PC, and they're merging. So it works out for both of us. But that is the DC Universe Online portion of the show, or at least the DCUO news portion of the show. At this point, we're moving on to DCTV, and when we do so, the disclaimer goes out that there will be mega spoilers happening for pretty much the rest of the show. Then about the last 5 to 10 minutes, we'll jump on over to DCComics.com and talk about the pull list and go through the DCTV secrets. All of that and more coming to this show. If this is your first time joining us, this is DCU Tonight. I'm your host, Rock Var, and we are live on VAR Nation as we speak. Well, yeah, I'm live. You're like 4 or 5 seconds behind me, because I have really horrible internet. Moving on to our next set, our DCTV set. So this week, as you know, and I apologize, I was unable to do the show last night because I had to work. And so when I have to work at in the nights, I can't really do the show because I'm there when I would normally be here. But for the next couple days, that's not going to be a problem. So, but that's why the show is tonight and not the regularly scheduled time on Monday about this time. So I'm not quite sure yet what's happening tomorrow. I may end up doing 2 back-to-back to talk about what happened in Flash if it's really super cool tonight, and if it's not, I'll hang out until Friday and talk about all of them at one time. But I prefer to do it, to break it up and do a couple at a time. But anyway, last night's episode of Supergirl was titled Bizarro, and it was appropriately titled. Obviously we get Bizarro Supergirl. It's no shock how that comes about. Max Lord has obviously been surveilling Supergirl. He's figured out who she is. I forgot to mention that in the last part of the last show, was that he had been surveilling the Danvers girls, so he knew exactly who they were. So he's created this. I don't even know what to call her. I want to call her a clone, but she's not. So he's used or tried this on different girls over a period of time, and he's tried to take females and genetically alter their DNA to make them exactly like Supergirl, and then I'm guessing he has them look like Supergirl, or made this one look like Supergirl. So he's created a little doppelganger Supergirl, and he's programmed her to hate Supergirl and want to destroy her, and that is supposed to be to make the world a better place, because she would be a better savior than Supergirl would. And it's really awkward in that just downright flawed logic that violence and hate will produce good results. It's kind of like, well, she's not good enough, so let's kill her and replace her. Well, that, how's that a hero anyway? And Bizarro actually figures this out on her own, just by talking with Supergirl and her interactions with her and their first encounter and their fight. And the only real problem that I have with any of it is just it continues down a path of things that are happening in Supergirl's world that should have happened in Superman's world first, and there's no reference to it. So maybe Superman already has had his Bizarro, but to this point, even in this episode, they don't reference that. And then Kat names this Bizarro Supergirl Bizarro as though it's a brand new name and no one's ever heard it before. And so it leads me to believe that in this universe, Supergirl is coming in contact with her Bizarro before Superman is, and I'm not a fan of that. But it was still a really good episode. I'm not saying that it wasn't. It was still a very, very good episode. Melissa Benoist did a very good job playing both roles. Eventually, they decide that if she's identical to Supergirl, she should share the same weakness, so kryptonite should be able to be used on her. And that little deduction ends up costing Supergirl her looks. So they end up trying to use kryptonite. It backfires. It makes her stronger. But what it also does is basically corrupt her cells and make her look like Bizarro. So she's got the pale skin, and her face is really flaky and zombie-like, and black eyes. And so then she's just kind of full-on Bizarro and even talks that way. So get to see a good fight scene again with Supergirl. A lot of emotions happening because she understands that this girl's been corrupted and she doesn't necessarily want to harm her. So she again proves that she is the Girl of Steel. Maxwell Lord, he's completely out of the bag now as far as being the big villain. He pretty much loses his mind and his cool, and how it is when to this point he's been pretty rational and he's made sense, and he's been a guy that you feel like maybe he's not just a complete lunatic because he's got this mission. And now it's kind of out that he's a egotistical maniac and way too smart for his own good and has way too much money for his own good, and he's going to continuously cause a threat. I mean, he's the equivalent to Supergirl's Lex Luthor. So and he knows that he's pretty much unstoppable because of his money and his ties and his friends and this and that. So what ends up happening is they capture him, and they're gonna looks like they're gonna keep him isolated at this point, and just go in every once in a while and poke the bear and rile him up is what happens throughout the episode. But we get to see some very cool interactions between Supergirl and Lord, as far as she's now complete, and she's been sure for a while that he's a bad guy. It's been that, she's been trying to prove it to everyone else, and at this point now everyone else understands, and I think they're kind of reacting appropriately, especially with the threats that he makes when he's incarcerated. Still have a love triangle. It's like a love circle now. At the beginning of the episode, Kat's treating Kara much, much differently. She actually brings her coffee, and she's being very, very nice to her because she thinks she's dating her son Adam. And Adam, probably has gone home to Mom and told her how wonderful, she is, and how much he's in love with her, and all of these great things. And so Kara's starting to feel backed in the corner a little bit. She's starting to feel, you get the idea that she's starting to feel like this is all kind of mapped out for her now. But that isn't the big twist that causes her to kind of back away from him. It's when she realizes that, Maxwell Lord knows that she's Kara Danvers, and he's going to stop at nothing to hurt her. And he makes that very evident when Bizarro attacks Kara and her sister when they're in plain clothes, just out. And so it's at that point that they realize he's going to go after their friends and family. He makes threats about her mom. And so it's at that point that Kara realizes she can't really have a relationship with someone because it's going to get used against her, or the worst is going to happen, and that person's going to end up getting killed. Because Bizarro does take Jimmy, and it looks bad for Jimmy for a little while. So she gets pretty rattled about that. So she breaks things off with Adam, which reset the status quo. They're really good at doing that in this show. They're really good at resetting the status quo in one episode. Status quo reset. They didn't miss a beat. Kat's back to being a jerk to Kara a little bit, and everything's reset there at the end. Except for now, Jimmy is going to let his feelings for Kara get in between himself and Lucy, and that creates a number of avenues that can go here. It's brought up that Jimmy, if he really wanted to, he could just break up with Lucy, and he could have Kara immediately. And that, I don't think he really realized it until somebody said it, that it was true. And once he did, now he's got this huge elephant in the room that's saying, wow, man, she's hot. Lucy's, she's Lucy, but this is Supergirl. And he's probably going to, it looks to me like, at least my opinion, he's going to end up going for it. We shall see. Maybe they'll make Jimmy a better dude than that. Maybe Jimmy will be such a bro to Superman that he won't go down that avenue in this incarnation. I do not know, but I doubt it. I really think they're setting us up here because, they've got Max Lord locked up now. And we have Lucy Lane on the show. We have Colonel Lane on the show. We know that one of Supergirl's greatest, we've already encountered another great nemesis of hers. I can't stop Bizarro Supergirl. I can't just call her Bizarro. It's weird to me. But they're setting us up for Lucy Lane. Spark that hate that's going to send Lucy into joining up in her father's cause and doing the whole Superwoman thing. And then we're going to see a showdown between Supergirl and Lucy Lane. That's what I think is going to happen. If that doesn't happen, I'm going to be a little bit let down because there's so many arrows pointing in that direction right now that it just feels like it is happening organically in front of our eyes. So we'll see if that is or isn't the case, but we do have some DCTV. That's what, when we lead over to DCComics.com here in just a few, where the DCTV secrets this week are about Supergirl. So some of our questions will be answered in just a few moments on DCU Tonight. I'm going to switch, I need a Mountain Holler break. No Mountain Dew today, it's a Mountain Holler. It's the equivalent of Mountain Dew for like $3 less. And just as delicious. And you get to see this picture of this dude who kind of looks like me in my 20s, screaming with sunglasses on. Delicious. Brought to you by Mountain Holler. So, tonight's Flash, and we're not very far from it. Only about 5 minutes, so we're going to jump over to the DC Comics portion of the segment. This has been DC TV on DCU Tonight. To talk about and learn more about the DC TV shows that are available, you can visit KryptonSite.com, take part in the discussion, jump into the forums, go to the countdown thread before the show, live discussion during the show, spoilers and speculation between and after the shows. You name it, you can do it on KryptonSite.com, plus get all your DC TV news in one place. So moving over to DCComics.com, couple of things this week that we want to touch on. Number one is Batman Bad Blood is available now in stores. This is the newest DC animated film that's available to us. Might as well shut the vape off. I don't have time to vape and talk at the same time. So, available now, Batman Bad Blood. When Batman goes missing, it will take the entire Bat family, including new additions Batwoman and Batwing, to keep the peace in Gotham City and unravel the mystery behind the Dark Knight's disappearance in Batman Bad Blood. The mysterious disappearance of Batman, coupled with the emergence of powerful and benevolent new villains in Gotham City, force Nightwing and Robin to take crime fighting into their own hands, while simultaneously searching for their missing leader. They're not alone for long. New superheroes Batwoman and Batwing, each armed with his or her own sensibilities, physical abilities, and crime-fighting tools, arrive in Gotham to assist in the cause. As the new family... I made the bunny ears with my fingers if you didn't see it. I can't do the motion in the game. As this new family strives to find its own dynamic, chilling clues lead the group to suspect the Dark Knight may have gone over to the dark side. It's up to the entire Bat team to uncover the truth before Gotham City falls prey to its greatest threat yet. That is available in stores now. Pretty much any store I'm going to name, it's going to be there, and they're not paying me to plug them, so I'm not going to. But if you walk down the street and you see DVDs for sale, you can probably buy that. Moving on to the DC TV Secrets section. Supergirl may bring hope to National City, but her new series brings along with it secrets from throughout comic book history. We're here to tease you with all the DC TV secrets hiding in each episode. If you really want to know some of the answers to these questions, check out the spoiler section for super answers, and I'm going to go down. And again, this is on DCComics.com. There's a link on the right-hand side with the picture of Supergirl, and you can see the DC TV secrets this week for episode 12, Bizarro. Let's dig up the mysteries of Supergirl's strange look-alike. Maxwell Lord is not a member of the Supergirl fan club. He wants to take the Kryptonian down, and he uses his scientific acumen to engineer Bizarro Supergirl. She has a single purpose, to kill Supergirl. The DEO learns about Lord's nefarious plan, and we have another secret to share. Who is Bizarro Supergirl? And a prime kidnapping target, which is going to be about Jimmy, because he gets kidnapped. He gets kidnapped. It says, not your average doppelganger. And we've got a picture of one of the Bizarro Supergirls here. In a world where superheroes soar in the skies, the idea of having a doppelganger isn't outlandish, but Bizarro, named by Cat Grant, stands apart. She's able to hold her own with Kara, or against Kara. The most well-known version of Supergirl's version of Bizarro is probably Bizarro Girl. In the comics, Bizarro Girl is from the cube-shaped planet Hatre, a world of opposites that also is the home of Bizarro. Upon escaping the God ship invading Hatre, during the first appearance in 2010 Supergirl number 53, Bizarro Girl crashed in Metropolis. Her super strength and invulnerability allowed her to match Supergirl hit for hit, but her other powers were the opposite of Supergirl's. She could breathe flame instead of cold air, emit icy cold rays from her eyes instead of heat vision, and wield solid vision rather than X-ray vision. Bizarro Girl is not to be confused with the first Bizarro Supergirl, who appeared in Superman number 140. That version was created via a duplicating machine by Bizarro Jr. Another Bizarro Supergirl was introduced in 2001 Supergirl number 62. She was a clone whose creation was orchestrated by Two-Face and Buzz. So those are the different Bizarros, Supergirls that have existed pre this TV show. So that's kind of, where they've been able to pull some ideas from. And it says, what is it about Jimmy Olsen? Being a friend of so many superheroes can be a dangerous position. Bizarro kidnaps James Olsen to get Supergirl's attention in the episode, and Bizarro Girl did the same in Supergirl number 55. She nabbed any of Supergirl's pals who tried to stop her, including Jimmy. She was planning to devour Jimmy when Supergirl broke her bonds and used solar radiation to stop Bizarro Girl. All that and more on DCComics.com. You can check out the hashtag DCTV Secrets of Supergirl, or pretty much just hashtag DCTV Secrets, on Twitter by searching the hashtag DCTV, and they do this every week, a couple times a week, based on every show. So when you think there's something in a show that I wish I knew more about that, chances are it's a hashtag DCTV Secret. So that wraps up the DC Comics portion of the show, except for the pull list for this week. And we've got Batman Europa, number 4. Swamp Thing, number 2. Both of those on sale on the 3rd. Supergirl, Volume 1, The Girl of Steel, now available. And that, if you like this show and you've not read much Supergirl, in my opinion, this is the one to read. This is Jeff Loeb, this is Michael Turner, this is Supergirl's intro into the DCU, or rebooted entry into the DCU after Infinite Crisis, I believe. And this, in my opinion, is where all Supergirl information should come from. If I see a Supergirl movie or a TV show, I would love for most of that story to be based on this comic. And there is a DC animated movie, Superman Batman, that is also based on this comic book. So you can get that at stores near you. So thank you for joining us. This has been DCU Tonight. Our goal is to keep you updated on everything happening in the DCUO universe, as well as DCTV and DC Comics. You can visit our website, varnationdcuo.com. Our channel here is called VarNation. If you'd like to help support our cause, you can click on the support button right there by the subscribe button. If you can't support, you can subscribe. And subscriptions are very, very helpful in us live the dream. You can also visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/VarNation. And be sure to get out there and play some DCUO, watch some DCTV, and read some DC Comics. For Hippolyta Kent, this is Rock Var, saying peace out.